Hi, welcome to Tech Time. I'm coming to you here at the library, right in the middle of all the books and stacks, and we're going to talk about Twitter today. So, Twitter is one of those social media profiles and programs that allows you to communicate with other people, share ideas, and a whole lot more. A lot of our favorite celebrities, politicians, and etc. use it all the time, and there's a place for it, of course. So I'm going to show you the very basic tools that you'll need to get started, as well as how to join and sign up. So Twitter is what's coming your way today on Tech Time. So to get started, we're going to simply go to the Twitter website, which is twitter.com. When we get there, this is the screen that we'll find. You have two options. If you already have created an account and you're watching this just to kind of understand how to work with Twitter better, you can just sign in up here, and that's what I'll be doing here in just a moment. Everyone else, if you are doing this for the first time, never had a Twitter before, what you're going to want to do is click the blue button to sign up. Signing up is very simple, just a few questions. Your name, a phone number, date of birth, so they can determine um, your age for using and working with Twitter. Of course, they want to make sure that the really young people are not on Twitter without permission. Once you fill this in, there'll be a few more questions. You'll create a screen name. That's going to be your @ and then a password, of course. You'll enter an email, and or right here you can use email instead. Actually, they've changed it, but um, once you have entered your password that you want to use and confirmed your account, because they will either text you or send you an email to help you confirm, you'll be all set to go ahead and jump in and start using Twitter. So if you need to, go ahead and take a moment here to get signed up. If you have any problems, please feel free to contact the library and ask for me, Marcos, and I'll be happy to walk you through. But once you've created your account, go ahead and continue from this point on. The rest of us who already have accounts, we're going to go ahead and just log in. So once you're in, if you're a new user, it'll ask you a few more questions about um, things that you're interested in, people that you might want to follow, just to kind of build a base for you. Because you'll need to have something that populates this space here. And you will actually see a lot of things coming from people you don't even follow, because this is basically just a news feed. So anything that's trending, things that are popular, it's all going to pop up here. If you are following organizations or certain people, those are more likely to show up first. So what we're going to focus on today is the very basics. So I'm going to talk to you about setting up your profile. That's what other people will see. And then we'll talk about how to actually engage and interact with other people. And then go from there. Like I said, Twitter isn't a difficult thing to use. Let's start by talking about our own personal profile. So we do have the profile button here, which will take us to it. Just so you're aware though, when you're on the screen, you can also just click on your icon or picture here, and it will take you to the same thing. So this is your profile page. Anything that pops up here is going to be all about you. So any tweets that you have done will show up here. Any replies, all information about you is here. So it tells you when you're joined, shows your your @. So mine's @libtrainer. In case you want to follow me, I don't post, but feel free to follow me. It'll tell you how many you are following, and if you want to see what you're following, you can click there, and then how many are following you. Editing your actual profile is not hard. There's a edit profile button here that we're going to click on. And this is going to allow us to just make some changes to things. For example, the name that shows up on your profile. You can change that whenever you want. It's not a big deal. That's just to identify you. So I have mine as Trainer Mark. The @ is kind of it's a little bit more permanent. I don't want to say permanent, but that's how people find you, respond to you, and talk to you. And that's not something that you can necessarily change. But your screen name, you can change. So there are two spots here for pictures. This is your profile picture, the one that shows up whenever you are interacting with other people. So you want to have something here that really identifies you. I have the old Octavia Fill-In Library logo here, so we're going to change mine. So I'm going to go to pictures, and I'm going to find a proper picture to put there instead of what is there at the moment. Now, to add pictures to your profile, the pictures do need to already be in your computer or your device if you're doing this from a tablet or phone. So you're not going to be able to search Google through this to find a picture or upload a picture. You're going to have to already have it available for you. And then once you find a picture, all you have to do is click on it, and it will add that picture as your profile picture. So I'm going to go with the official Tech Time logo. And we'll see how this looks here. Perfect. Now the back picture is like a background. If you're familiar with Facebook, Facebook has it as well. It's a longer picture, so you don't want to pick something small because it'll just pixelate or zoom in on something in the picture. You want to make sure you have a nice size background to put on there. So I'm going to find something to put there. I'm going to go with our OFPL Productions. Beautiful. See how it zoomed in because it's a smaller picture, so it zoomed in on that spot. I can adjust it if I wanted to. If I wanted to raise it up a little bit, I can do that. But I'm happy with it as is for now. So on your profile, there's other things you can change besides your pictures and screen name. You can add a bio, which is just short information about who you are, what you do. Mine's empty, so I'll add a little something here. You don't have to fill in all these if you don't want to. You can just leave it blank. It's your prerogative. So I'm just going to add computer trainer. Let's see, computer trainer at OFPL and maker of online videos. There we go. Location, you can put in your location if you want people to know where you're from. It could be specific, like I'm from Gallup, New Mexico. It could be general, New Mexico, United States. You can put anything you want there. If you have a website that you want to promote, that's a good place to add that as well. And then if you want to include your date of birth, you can. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. I'm a big fan of less is more, so I don't like to fill in everything, but it's up to you. So I'm going to save this and watch it all update. So I have updated my profile, and now I'm ready to go and interact with everybody. Again, on your profile page, not only does it show your profile and explain how long you've been here, talk about your following, it also displays your tweets. So this is one I did in 2017. And then other things below are just suggestions and such. So what you'll also see on this page is on the far right hand side, you can search Twitter for topics, people, if you know their handle. So if you know the @ you can type that in and it'll search Twitter for them. Sometimes Twitter's trying to help you out, so they'll put some people that it thinks you might be interested in for whatever reason. You can always choose to go ahead and follow, or you can just ignore. You can show more. Um, totally up to you. It's, again, not dependent on anything in particular. It's just kind of a random, here's people. Down below that, we have a little section on things that are trending, what's happening right now. A lot of these have to do with these things here. So these hashtags tend to pop up on Twitter when something is happening, like movements or events. So if you're looking for a particular event, you can also search Twitter using a hashtag. You can also add hashtags to your tweets if you want to include them in this collection of things. Like right now, Save the Children is kind of a big um, thing that's been sweeping all of social media. So if you were to search that, you would see all of the tweets or postings that people have done using that hashtag. Okay, that's about it that we're going to find on this page for right now. I do also want to point out that down here on the left hand side, if I click on the little arrow, it gives me the option to log out or add another account if I have another account. The logout is going to be really important when you're done, whenever you're done on any kind of social media, especially if you're using any kind of public machine. Make sure you log out. You don't want to give people a chance to access your information. It's even just a good habit to fall into at home. Just, I'm done with this for the day. I'm going to log out. But we'll get back to the logout later. Next thing we're going to talk about are some of these buttons here on our left hand side. The big blue one, of course, is our tweeting button, and we'll be using that in just a moment. Everything else is kind of a shortcut. Home will take us back to that main screen that we first saw when we signed in. Explore will let us look at popular hashtags, see what's trending right now. So we got dogs of Twitter, equality can't wait, and a bunch of others. So this is a way to just kind of see what's happening around. Kind of like getting your news in a way. We also have more buttons here when you're done exploring and checking out what's happening in the world. We have the notifications, which will let you know any kind of activity that's happening, like if somebody reacts or responds to something that you tweeted, somebody retweets, somebody you're following might put something up, somebody mentions you. In other words, they put your name inside of a tweet. All of that will appear here. There are also messaging that you can do, just like a private message, a way to have a conversation with somebody in private without being all over Twitter, which happens a lot. You can also bookmark certain things, certain tweets, things that you're looking at. You can add this bookmark so you can come back to it later on. maybe you see something that you really want to look at, but you just can't read it right now. Something you don't have time, so you can bookmark it, come back to it when you have time. Okay, lists are things that you can create. It's almost like a group in a way. So you make this list, and then other people can kind of contribute to it, and or you can make it a private list of things that you want to look for. As you can see, you can add a picture, create a name and description for the list. So it's in a way trying to compete with what Facebook's doing with its groups. Of course, there's your profile. We talked about that. Now the bottom button, which always remember, anytime you see the three circles, three dots, the ellipses, whatever you want to call them, it always means there's more, as it says here. So these are more things that you can do with Twitter. If you're really into keeping track of how much reach you are having with other people, the analytics is definitely going to be for you. That's where you can see what kind of activity, interaction, how people are responding to the things that you post. This is if you really want to get in deep, like dive in full on into Twitter and just get lost into the deep ocean of the tweets. Totally up to you. But that's how you can look at it all and keep track. Twitter ads is a way to help make the ads that you see more towards you. It gives you just a little bit of control. Um, all the online experiences now are all about tailoring these things to your interests so that you're more likely to respond to something that you see versus something that has nothing to do with you. Then topics will show, again, major topics that are important right now or that you might like, and you can follow these topics just like you can follow a person or you can follow an organization. You can also follow topics or hashtags so that you can see these things as are being filled by people's tweets. You can also, on the other hand, put in things that you don't want to see, things that are not interesting to you. So this is all about helping create the best Twitter experience for you. Okay, moments are like important things that are happening. Um, let's say you decided to tweet about um, a big anniversary of some sort. So you can create that as a moment, and then other people can contribute to this moment. Um, or something's going on in the world and you want to kind of make a collection of these things. So um, you'll see the options for all of this as you get more into creating your own tweets and stuff on the main screen. So we'll get back to that. What I do want to show you though is here under settings and privacy. This is really important. Anytime you decide to create a social media account, you should always go through and check what kind of settings there are for your privacy and your own security. So I mentioned earlier your username, the @ that's going to be kind of the running thing with you. Twitter does allow you to change it, but it's rare and not often. So I could change mine if I wanted to. I'm not going to because I like it as is, but um, it's not as easy to change as your screen name is. You can add in a phone number, email, change your password. If you want extra security, you can do that. Additional password protection, two-factor authentication. A lot of people like that, especially if they feel like they could be a potential target for hacking. That's one way to ensure that you keep control of your account and its privacy. These permissions and stuff have to do with what you want Twitter to be able to access and show and share. Uh, it's also where you go if you decide, I'm done with Twitter, I'm done with tweets, I'm done, and you want to deactivate your account, you can come here and do so. Now, the privacy settings are what's really going to be key. So, under privacy and safety, um, you can kind of control, what happens with your experience on Twitter. For example, with the photo tagging, um, right now the default setting is that anyone can tag you, which means if somebody posts a picture, you're in it, and that person can put your @ and tag you in that photo. You can set that so that either they can't do it or they can do it, but only with permission. See, there's also this location information. You can add location to your tweets if you want people to know where you're tweeting from. Personally, I don't like that as an option, and I always make sure that my location is not being revealed whenever I do any kind of social media. You can also look at the direct messages and decide if you want to receive messages from just anyone or only friends, that's people that you follow. I mean, not friends. Wrong terminology. How discoverable you want to be while you're on here. Um, all of this is just personalization things that you can add to your account in Twitter. I'm not going to go through each and every one because it would take a lot of time to actually get through it all. But I highly encourage you, when you create your account and you have a chance, take a look through all of this. Set it up the way that you feel comfortable. And if it is a tight lockdown account, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's better to err in side of safety than not. It also depends on, how much interaction you plan to do. Some people get Twitter just so they can go through and read the tweets that other people make. They don't necessarily want to interact or be a part of the whole thing, and that's fine. You can set this up so that nobody can really bother you, and you can just sit there and watch from afar. Or you can set it up so that you are right in the thick of it and just having at it. It's your experience. Tailor it to what you want it to be. We're going to go to home now, and we're going to talk about the big thing. How do we create tweets and how do we interact with other people? Well, you can always, of course, use the big blue button, which will open up a separate little box that will allow you to create your tweet. So you can type in whatever it is that is on your mind that you want to say. This one says what's happening, so you can type in what's happening. To this, you can also add pictures, GIFs, like charts and things, emojis, events. So whatever it is that you are deciding to tweet about, you can fill that information in and then add to it whatever it is you want to add to. So let's say I want to say, hi everyone, learning to tweet. Right, I'm going to add a picture. Why not? Let's see, what's a good picture here? Let's go with Bugs Bunny. Why not? Alright, so I've put in some words, then I decided to add a picture. So at this point now I can tag people. If I know they're at, I can add them. I can also add a description of the picture, which will tell whoever is looking at this more about what the purpose of the picture is. And then when I'm done, I can simply click on the tweet button and it will post that tweet. I can add multiple tweets if I want to on here. It would be the same idea, just it's almost like replying to my own tweet in a way. So once I have everything set the way I want it to look, I click the blue button and bam, there is my tweet. Now, if I don't want to use the big blue button, I can also just use this here, which is the same thing. There's my space to type, add whatever I want to add, blue button, off it goes. Once you have sent out your tweet, now other people who are following you or whose feed your tweet might fall onto can now interact with this tweet. I can also interact with my own tweet. So what are the kinds of things that we can do with a tweet that we see on our feed? Because as you can see, I do have some tweets here. Well, let's talk about all the little buttons that are underneath. First of all, I have this little drop down arrow. This is for me because I can delete this tweet if I decide I don't want it to show up anymore. I can also pin this tweet to my profile so it doesn't disappear. I can embed this if I wanted to share this like on a website somewhere. I can just view the activity and see how much attention my tweet is getting. On the top, it does show you who sent it. So again, there's my screen name. There's my @. When you go on anyone, the dark part is always their screen name, so you can always highlight over and see, gives you a quick preview of this person. So whatever would be on that profile page that we had set up earlier. So it shows you their profile picture, their screen name, their @, the bio, and then the quick information. How many they're following, how many followers they have. Sometimes you get other information like who else follows them, in case you're interested. If you are following them, it will tell you here you are following. It also gives the option to unfollow if you don't want to follow them anymore. Now, if it's somebody that I'm not following, it will ask me if I want to follow. And that's what this is. So if I were to click on that, they would now be added to who I follow. So that's one thing you can do with tweets. Another thing you can do, since my picture is not showing full size, I can click on it to make it bigger, and now I can see the full size picture. Also has some of the information here. So this, for example, from the Albuquerque Journal, I click on it, I get the full size picture, and I get a link that leads me to this story. Other things I can do with tweets. So the buttons that are underneath the picture, or if it's just words, you would see the same thing. This first one is for replying. If I click on that, it gives me a chance to add on to, since this is my own tweet, I would just be responding. If it's somebody else's, like this one, I can now add my reply to whatever this tweet is. So I'm basically responding to what I see. The arrows allows me to retweet this. A retweet is basically a share. That means that I think this is important enough that I want to post it on my feed, in my timeline, for other people to see. It'll still show that it's from the Albuquerque Journal, but it'll show that I have shared this, or as Twitter calls it, retweeted this. And I can even add my own comment to it. Like, wow, everybody, this is really important. You should read this. I also have the option of just liking this, the little heart button. If I click on that, it'll just let the poster know that I like this. Whatever they're posting, I liked their post. No response, no need to type anything. It's like giving a thumbs up. The last button gives me a chance to do a little bit more. I can send this to somebody's direct message if I want, like a friend of mine who I'm following to see this directly. This is where I can bookmark it if I want to bookmark it. And I can also copy the link to this tweet where I can then share it on other things, other social media, websites, chat areas, anywhere I want to use to draw people back to this if I want to. So that's the basics of interacting with people. Now let's look at what happens when you want to work with somebody directly. So here's Stephen King, for example. Since I'm following Stephen King, we'll go to his page. I clicked on his name, it brings me to his profile page. One of the things to look for if you're going to interact with celebrities or people that are important, always look for the blue check mark. That means that this is a verified page. If you don't see the blue check mark, then they are not verified. That means it could be the real person or it could be somebody with a fan account. But checkmark means that, yes, this is the real person. So if I wasn't following him, I would have the option to follow here. Since I am following him, it's showing up in dark blue, letting me know that I am following. I can also unfollow, which means I won't see his posts on my feed anymore. I can click on this, which means that I'll be notified whenever he posts, if I want to have that. So if there's somebody that you really, really like following and you just want to make sure that you don't miss a beat on them, you can go to their page, click on that, and it's like a see first option. So you'll be informed whenever that person posts. Then I have all these other options here. And there's a lot there, a lot of different ways to interact with this person. If this is somebody that is kind of a problem, I can mute this person if I want to, which means I won't get the replies and things. We're in the middle of a Twitter fight, I can just mute them and ignore. Or, if it gets really bad, I can block this person. So I can decide I don't want to interact with this person anymore. This person is just harassing me, so I'm going to block them. That means they can't interact. We can't do anything. There's a wall between us now. And of course, if it gets really, really, really bad, you can also report this person. And you'll have to specify why you were reporting, whether it was harassment, posting something that's inappropriate, or doesn't follow Twitter's guidelines. There's different reasons. And then I can also go through and see all of the different tweets that this person has put up. Again, if it's somebody that you are not following, you're gonna see pretty much the same thing. It's just that since you're not following them, they're not on your feed. So if you want them to appear on your feed, you do have to follow. Right, I'm gonna go back to my home. So as you can see, Twitter's not too hard to work with, not too hard to use. There is a lot here, and it is very easy to get pulled into all the different things that are happening here. It's really interesting to watch when people start having conversations and you just see reply, reply, reply to each other. It's like a online argument. Um, so a lot of interesting things that happen in Twitter. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick little overview on the basics. Remember, anytime you need help, feel free to contact the library, ask for Marcos, and I'll be happy to walk you through anything you might need help with. Enjoy Twitter. Um, enjoy whatever it is you decide to do. Please make sure you do follow us on Facebook if you're not already. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't had a chance. We do have other videos. Of course, lots of tech time videos that you can watch and rewatch and learn how to do new skills, help other people who might need to learn these new skills. And we also have other things like Crafty Kids, Creative Corner. So lots to see, lots to do. Check it out. Show us some love. Leave some comments, some likes, etc. And we'll see you next time on Tech Time.